What if I told you that walking away from intimacy after your 60s could quietly set off a chain reaction in your body, affecting your heart, your memory, your strength, even your very sense of identity? And most people never even see it coming. Not decades later, but soon. Sometimes within just a few short years. I once worked with a 73-year-old man who didn't pass from any major illness, but slowly faded out of the life he once lived fully. His decline wasn't sudden. It was subtle, invisible almost. He gave up on closeness, emotional, physical, and everything in between, and over time, his mind, his vitality, his joy just slipped away. I'm Dr. Jonathan Hayes. I've spent more than 30 years supporting older men in rediscovering their energy, independence, and sense of self. And if you think sex and intimacy don't matter anymore after a certain age, I want you to stay with me, because the truth might surprise you. Today, I'll walk you through 7 hidden effects that often begin when a man gives up intimacy. Not just physical, but emotional too. And the 7th one? It's the one no one talks about. But it's the hardest to recover from once it's gone. Before we dive in, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It helps more than you know. If you believe intimacy matters, type 1 in the comments. If you're not so sure, type 0. Your voice matters here. Let's begin. 1. Emotional withdrawal and growing isolation. One of the first shifts is invisible. You might not even realize it's happening until much later. You feel just a little more on edge. Maybe you're pulling back from social events. Maybe your evenings are quieter, but not in a peaceful way. There's a hormone your body releases through touch, affection, and emotional closeness. It's called oxytocin, the bonding chemical. Without it, the world can start to feel colder. And the emptiness? It grows louder. What follows is often anxiety, restlessness, even depression. And it's not just about mood. Research shows social disconnection can accelerate heart disease, cognitive decline, and shorten life expectancy. Not because of any dramatic illness, but because the soul starts to shrink. 2. Your heart starts to work harder and suffer. I treated a man once who exercised every day and ate well, but his blood pressure kept rising and his stamina fell off a cliff. Nothing in his physical routine changed, but one thing had. He and his wife had grown distant. No more affection, no more touch, and slowly, his heart lost its rhythm. Not metaphorically, but biologically. Intimacy acts like light cardio. It improves circulation, strengthens arteries, lowers blood pressure. Without that regular stimulation, the heart begins to stiffen. Fatigue creeps in. Risks for strokes and heart attacks quietly climb. You might chalk it up to just getting older. But what's really happening is a system designed for connection is being left unused. 3. Muscle loss and mobility decline. I remember Harold. He used to walk the golf course every weekend. A quiet powerhouse. But within 2 years of withdrawing from intimacy, he began to complain about joint pain, stiffness, weakness. His step grew slower. His posture collapsed. Here's what most people forget. Intimate touch and affection engage the whole body. Hips, back, legs, even small stabilizing muscles. Stop moving that way, and you'll start losing strength in places you didn't even notice you had. And with that comes danger, falls, fractures, and loss of independence. The scariest part? Once those muscles go, rebuilding them after 65 is an uphill climb few are equipped for. 4. Memory fades and mental clarity. Dulles Margaret, a widow in her early 70s, once told me, "I used to be sharp as a whip. Now I walk into a room and forget why." She thought it was normal aging, but what she didn't know is how physical closeness helps fire up the brain. It boosts blood flow, stimulates memory centers, and sharpens cognition. Without that stimulation, neural pathways begin to dim. It starts with forgetting names, then appointments, then directions, and sometimes that fog never lifts. Isolation has been directly linked to earlier onset of dementia and memory disorders. But intimacy, not just sex, but true emotional closeness, acts like nourishment for the mind. Without it, your inner world dims along with your outer one. 5. Immunity weakens. Quietly. Robert was proud of his good health, but in just 2 winters, he went from rarely catching a cold to being constantly sick. Infections lingered. His resilience crumbled. What changed? His partner passed, and he never allowed another soul close again. Intimacy, especially physical connection, helps release hormones that stimulate the immune system. Without them, your body becomes more vulnerable to viruses, chronic inflammation, and slow healing. You may not notice it at first, just a longer than usual cold, then a mild infection that drags on. But for older adults, these minor threats can lead to major setbacks. 6. Sleep gets lighter, and so do you, Margaret, again. Her insomnia got so bad she stopped volunteering altogether. The fatigue was unbearable. C. Oxytocin and prolactin, both released during intimacy, promote deep, restorative sleep. Without them, your nights grow shallow and broken. And without sleep, nothing works properly. Not your mood, not your immune system, not your heart. Long-term sleep disruption is tied to earlier mortality, mental health decline, and yes, increased risk of dementia. So if you're waking up tired every day, consider this. It may not be your mattress. It might be the loss of meaningful connection. 7. Your ability to be intimate physically may disappear. Finally, the most heartbreaking cost. William was 68 when he decided intimacy wasn't important anymore. At 74, he came back to my office devastated. "I waited too long," he said. "Now, nothing works." Just like muscle, your sexual health is a use it or lose it system. In men, disuse leads to reduced blood flow, tissue stiffening, and loss of sensation. In women, thinning tissues and dryness can make intimacy painful. What's tragic is that this loss is often preventable, but once it sets in, recovery is much harder than most realize. And the emotional toll, deep. We're not just talking about physical function, we're talking about confidence, connection, joy. Conclusion: intimacy isn't optional, it's foundational. If you've stayed with me this far, I hope you see now that intimacy after 60 isn't just about pleasure. It's about purpose, about connection, and survival. The risks of walking away are real. Anxiety, heart decline, weakness, memory loss, fragile immunity, sleepless nights, and loss of function. But the good news? None of these are set in stone. And it's never too late to reconnect. Intimacy doesn't have to look like it did in your 20s. It can evolve into something deeper, more meaningful, and even more healing. So please, don't give up on this part of yourself. Rebuild it, reclaim it. You're not broken. You're just running low. And there's still time to refuel. If this message spoke to you, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, that's okay. Type 0 and tell us what would help you more. Let's keep this conversation alive. Like, share, and subscribe for more content on aging with strength, clarity, and connection. Thanks for being here, and never stop fighting for the life you still have to live. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms. And please consider subscribe for more videos like this.